LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. An LDG desktop tuner works automatically with nearly any station and up to 1,000 watts. LDG power tuners are ideal for portable and mobile use as they consume almost no current and can be powered by internal batteries that last up to a year. LDG tuners are backed by our 2-year, fully transferable warranty and our legendary customer service, the best in the industry. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Well, here we are. Hello. Welcome to 100 Watts and a Wire. My name is Christian. My call sign is Kilo 0 Sierra Tango Hotel, and we are doing a live community gathering of the willing, a community live stream. Sidecar Steve is here with me. We are back and together again. Got the band back together. Actually, it was a rough contract negotiation, but he's like, I need this camo. I need the jacket with the hoodie, or I'm not coming. So he has got a big box. Oh, jeez. For our audio listeners, he went to put the hoodie up.
What? Yep.
Slightly before he took his headset off. But it looks...
that didn't work.
That's okay. For our audio people, they just heard like a large thump. So it's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's fine.
Did he go down?
Nobody was
Morning,
injured.
everyone.
Nobody was injured in the making of this. I have put the key under the mat here. We are at game time, 32 degrees and about 2 inches of snow on the ground. And my girls are just super excited. Mama's not up yet, so they can't scream, but they will be screaming once she wakes up. And they direct her to the window where, we knew this one was coming. We knew this was coming. It's going to be great. It'll be a cold day playing in the snow, but it sure is beautiful. I wish we would have had this during the holiday time because it's one of those where it's not going to break you up. You've already had these where it's like, oh, geez, and it's like super deep feet of snow, or 2 feet, I think, in your case, and some others. We're just a couple inches. It looks beautiful
at this place, but over, with work, we were dealing with quite a bit in what we call Upper County. So posted a picture in the Discord on we have to dig out our one of our data centers and just dig out the driveway just to get to it. So
yeah.
If you're not with us on the Discord group, go join, and you'll get to see the backhoe full of snow in the bucket as we're digging out.
We'll say good morning to our community members. Thanks for stopping by on a Saturday. You can let us know what your weather forecast is. Maybe we'll bring somebody in to do the weather. I know we need more voices in the mix here, so we'll have a community weather person for today who can go through the chat and pick up your temperatures. Tell us what you're working with, and in the meantime, we'll say hello to a few of our friends who have joined us here. Saturday mornings, we do a live stream for our community. Everybody's welcome, of course. Please subscribe to the podcast because that's where you'll hear this in its entirety, and clips and live streams make their way to the YouTube channel. But you want to be in the know early, like this. Let me go back. We did the 30-day review of the 20-meter Isotron on Tuesday. It was released, and so if you're a member, or not a member, but if you're a subscriber to the podcast, you could hear it already before it hits. You know about these things. And when you get a 100-watt ID, you also are part of the mailing list, so you know about things first. And that's how it goes. Now, if you paid us a lot of money, Steve and I would get you privy to our text messages. What are you doing? What I'm always doing. I'm watching the old rerun.
Be the fly on the wall before our 10 minutes before we start here.
We'll work it out. I see a couple people calling in. I dropped a link here for the mat under the door. You can join us in here. Please check your camera. Make sure your camera is, looks similar to ours, or it will look a little wacky. Or think about that in your audio. But let's see. Say hello to a couple people that are coming in now. I thought that I set this up the right way, but Restream may not be a thing anymore because it is for when they write in Discord, but it's not pulling in the chat from the YouTube. So not a big deal. Not a big deal. I'm just going to take it off. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll have a weather forecast in just a little bit. People are putting their temperatures in, and we can go through that in a little bit. Say hello to Scotty, Dave, Paul, Peter. Our community is coming in, and we appreciate you. Anyway, I started talking about that stuff that we were going to say hello to people. Don Z, there's Jeffrey, Wes, our over the road driver is here.
Snowing in Oklahoma. So.
Hey, you can't give the weather forecast. Okay. You can't. Oh, but that is notable. But, once I bring this guy in here, it's all hell's going to break loose is the problem.
We're going to have another HR moment. So
we're going to have an HR moment, and we're going to have prayer, and it's going to get weird. Yeah. But, he's probably the best weather person for this gig. So at game time here, the Sea Child, 32 degrees. We have snow coming down. 2 inches or more should stop around lunchtime. Let me bring in Pastor Joe, because every good show needs a pastor. And God knows, like literally, God literally knows that we have got to get ourselves
together. We need a lot of help.
Let me see how this would work. There he is. Look at this. Yeah, but let's make your face as big as possible on the screen. Jesus. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the hardest. Yeah, he doesn't know that we're even.
He doesn't even know.
I quit. Somebody get him. Somebody get Joe. Somebody get the Pastor Joe. He's got to pull up his weather map. And, he's a super
Sounds
weather.
like romper room. Yep.
We have a good time with Pastor Joe. It's always good to have somebody on your side to get you to the next plane. Oh, Lord, I hear somebody just plugged in a mic. To our audio listeners of the podcast, I'm sorry, but let's see what we can do here. All right, Pastor Joe. Good morning.
Can you hear me now?
I do. Do you have a radio on?
No, of course not. I know better.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I should probably say is to turn down the stream. When you come in, I'm happy to bring you guys in. Scotty, I see you. You're up in the queue. We'll bring you up here in a little bit. But I thought of you, Pastor Joe, when we started talking about weather. You are a little low now. I got to feel like I'm doing a little of this because I don't know. Let's get back on Pastor Joe's level. Oh, there he goes.
There we go.
Okay.
Here I is.
Okay, he reclines. He's just like, yeah, deal with it. I'm Pastor Joe. Everybody needs Pastor Joe in their life. I like your, looks like a blue Yeti microphone, or is that your
That's exactly right.
Beautiful.
Yep, this is my desktop microphone.
Let's go to the weather now. Can you see the chat okay to give some weather forecast and let us know what's going on around the community? They're putting in their numbers now. You're welcome to go ahead and take it and let us know what you're...
Well, you talking the Discord chat? Or
the Discord should come over. I don't know. Let's stick with the YouTube chat. I got a lot of chats
going here.
Yeah, let's go with the YouTube
chat. Yeah, I'm looking at that. Okay.
Go ahead. Let's see what we got.
So here in the Northeast, in New Jersey, we are looking at... it's very cold today. It's going to into possibly... It's overnight tonight. So... I want to make sure and have everything well insulated. Other than that, it's a mostly sunny day here in New Jersey. I know that there's some storm systems moving out from the west over towards the east, which are going to miss us. We've got rain coming Sunday night into Monday, and west of us, Pennsylvania, upstate, New York, Vermont, they're looking at some pretty heavy snowfall coming up. For us, it'll be a rain event. Paul, N2HYG, and I are preparing for rain and wind. So that's the deal here.
Pastor Joe, it sounds like you may have knocked your Blue Yeti out. Now you see. Bless his heart. I'm going to pray for you tonight, Joe. Pastor Joe.
Please. Okay.
Okay. If you'll go through the chat, give us some what's happening around. I see some balmy temperatures, and minus 30 is in there. But I know you've always wanted to do this. Yeah.
3 below in Lino Lakes, and but he's way up, and our friend Dave Rawlinson, minus 22 in northern Ontario. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Okay. Our friend Paul Hopman, 32 is a heat wave, and snowing in Oklahoma right now. Hello, Wes. How you doing? K0STH Tony, 43. Not sure where he is, but and then let's see, 10 degrees in Pennsylvania. Lose Adventures, 10 degrees in PA. Yeah, that makes sense. We're not too far from there. So yeah, all kinds of cool weather. Hey, it's winter. This happens in January. What can I tell you?
It's good. Well, we were just hoping we'd go around the community and see what was going around in the different places. You know, some places have nice temperatures. Others are, I don't know. Our friend Don is in Minnesota, and I'm like, ooh. I've learned by knowing Don that that's not where I want to be in wintertime at all. That is just, that's minus 20 on a consistent scale. You know, kind of feels like that. Oh, Tony's in Alabama.
The coat that I'm wearing today is the LLB, not to plug them, but the Baxter State Parka, their warmest coat. So that's the one I put on today. So, although it's nice and warm here in my office. So,
what are you working on? We figured that you were working on something for tomorrow. You're going to give a service. Is that what you do on Saturday morning?
Yep. I'm putting together some things for the service. I've got some phone calls to make. I got some more forward-looking things I'm taking care of. You know, just kind of this and that. I'm looking out in the parking lot, and I see that my YL has showed up. She's going to be doing some work here in the church for a little while this morning, so we do ministry well together. But, yeah, got some people to reach out to. Had to set up a TV and a sound system for a big luncheon we're having. I do it all, man. I do it all.
Okay.
Sounds like we're getting some phone calls later, Christian.
Yeah, he does it all.
Yes, I'd like to see both of you in my office.
I know. We'll be there at the virtual Zoom, the normal virtual Zoom session.
You guys got some splaining to do.
I'm like, how many Hail Marys? 1,000. Pastor Joe. I mean, like, it's constant. He's like, if I give him too many prayers, he can't get himself in any trouble. He just can't talk. He's just going to have to do 1,000, my son. It's like that.
I am running out of candles for you, my friend.
I know. We need to get you a beehive out back so you can get some.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck tomorrow with the people.
Very good. Good being with you guys. Steve, good to see you again. God bless you.
Good seeing you, Joe. Thank you for being here.
All right, there he goes. Pastor Joe has stopped by to give us the weather in our local community. It's a big community. It's spread out. Hello to Ricardo. He says he's a little behind this morning. Sounds a little too personal. He's in Florida. Oh, he didn't say I have a little behind. He said he is a little behind, but he's awake. I get it now. All right. So folks are checking in here, and we've got another kid. Should we go to the phone, or should we get into some topics here? This is like, I don't know, radio.
Let's go to the phone.
Let's go to the phone, baby. I'll put the key under the mat here for all our friends who are watching this chat and this live stream. It's a bit exclusive, I'd say, because after it's done, it's done. You can listen to it on the podcast side. Our podcast listeners will see this who can't be with us. And anything special we'll pull out and put it up on YouTube. But, let's go to the phones. Jay says it's cold and snowy. It's cold and snowy yesterday. 2 inches of snow. 3 foot of wind.
For us,
3 feet. What
for us here, it's we're 28 degrees and 99% humidity. Freezing fog for the next 3 days.
Oh, yeah, I'm fascinated when you say the freezing fog. Freezing frog is a southern.
Freezing frogs?
That's a different free. You gimp them or whatever you do with them and gig them. You gig the frog, pull off their leg and throw it in the freezer is how a lot of our friends do it. Let's go out to the east. Scotty's here. Kilo Charlie 3. Bring him up. Kilo Charlie 3. Bravo X-ray November. Put him in the number 2 slot. There he is. Look at this hair.
Hey,
he's coming with
Scotty,
the hair.
Look at that. Wow,
oh, if I had those follicles, dude.
What's up, everybody?
I would just be like, what's happening, man? I'm happy to join you. Sorry, I just got out of the shower. And
no audio, Scotty.
Got a problem. Scotty doesn't have audio, you said?
No audio on the Scottster.
I hear him. I hear him in one channel, though. It's a little weird.
That's good. It is a little odd.
That is odd. He's an audio guy. This is weird. They don't hear him? You guys don't hear him in the chat? That's what you don't hear him, Steve?
Nope.
How weird is
Scotty,
that?
dude?
I
audio
hear it.
man.
I hear him. How come you wouldn't be heard? I don't understand.
What's going on here?
I do only hear you in one ear, though. Which is weird. So I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
You hang tight. Why don't we reconnect?
Okay.
Reconnect. Oh, I don't know who that was. I heard a woman in there. Did you hear a lady?
Yeah, the same here. Yep, I heard that.
What the?
Down low.
Pastor Joe? Don't you send these gremlins
we
in
got
there.
possessed.
He sent some gremlins down in the line. Damn it. I knew it. I'm going to light a candle right now. So how was your week? Did you get to do any ham radio this week? I have to say I got no contacts this week, unfortunately. What about you?
A little bit. I mean, I came out to the shack, and it was the evenings. Earlier in the week, I played around a little bit, and but the last couple days, not too much. I did come out here last night. I was surprised with the numbers looked pretty bad, but it was like, oh, go out and try it, Steve. And sure enough, South Africa was doing pretty well on 40 meters at about 7:30ish my time, so 10:30 East Coast. It was he was working quite a few East Coast and a couple of West Coast stations, so not super loud, but there was had great audio and just perfect to have a conversation. So it was I was real surprised. I was expecting it to be like flatline, like 20 meters. 20 meters last night was just gone. There wasn't even any FT8 activity.
That's nuts. That's nutty. You're welcome to join the show. You can pick up the link I put down in the chat. Also, in the description of the live stream on our YouTube channel, you can see a form. Say you're a little mic shy or a little shy to be on camera. I totally get it. Understand that. You are welcome to put your question or comment on a form, and it comes right to me here in the studio, so we can do it that way as well. We probably, since it's not super crazy nutty in the chat, we could probably put a queue and then ask a question if you want to, and we'll pick them up from both places. How about that? Yeah, I think, Scotty, it sounded like something wasn't completely plugged in. You know, when you get like half of something going in, and then a lady. I heard a lady. There was a lady one before as we disconnected. Hopefully he didn't have that lady locked in his basement anymore. I was pretty sure he got out of trouble for all that. It was just a little thing. I don't know. Couple things I wanted to mention as we go. We can have a couple of discussions. We mentioned Discord. We have a YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook group, and we have a pretty active Discord. People are gathering there, and it seemed to
It's growing.
It's growing. It beefed up a bit after my debacle with Facebook, which I'm in there again now. Technically in there for the group under a complete alias. I mentioned on a recent show, I used Dirk Diggler, who is the lead character of, Boogie Nights with the prosthetic, junk. And it seemed to work. Me, not so much. They're like, no, Nick, not now. You're not coming back in here. This is a problem. All right, now we're gonna try Scotty again here, and see what's happening. If we can get Scotty up to join us, let's see what's going on, man.
Hey, there he is.
He's got.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so we got your audio's pushing through before your video, which sometimes happens, and that's okay. That's okay because mostly this will go toward the podcast side anyway.
All right.
Yeah, so it's all right. What's going on? Is that I'm looking at the T-shirt. It reminds me of a Guns N' Roses shirt, but it's not. It doesn't seem to be.
Mercenary Audio is an old pro audio shop in Boston. They're gone now. But I bought a bunch of gear from them back in the aughts.
Wow, they're still having audio issues with you, and this is interesting for you, Steve, because people in the chat are only hearing him on one side, and that's how I'm hearing him. That's okay. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on.
It's crazy.
On my Mac, I'm running Loopback. Some virtual audio cable. I got a whole bunch of apps. Audio stuff. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I wasn't planning on joining the video chat. I was like, I'm going to jump in, and then now I got audio issues. So.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know that the others do. It's all right. I'm going to leave you to it, though. I'm going to leave you to it because I don't want to have them freak out. You're my dude, though. You're in the Discord, so I look forward to seeing your post. He's an audio engineer. Don't go making any, sometimes you just have this, and sometimes the
Stuff happens.
stuff happens with the internet. But yeah, he's on the East Coast, Ellicott City, which is in Maryland, and sound engineer. So no jokes, but this is how the internet will do you. It'll do you dirty sometimes, and you'll get these weird situations. But he's been in the game for a long time. I know that from our time on the Discord. All right. Yeah, so Winter Field Day. Oh, no. I was going to talk about Discord a little bit with you. Yesterday, there was some, not like back and forth at all, but people, it's a community, and I'm more than willing to add, subtract where it gets too crazy if we need to, whatever. But people were talking about maybe adding a couple of channels. One that I thought, that's probably a good idea. And the other one I think we can address today because it's like that buy, sell, and trade one. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned in there that I hesitate. I love the idea of it, but I think it would open us up to, I don't know, if scammers. I'll let you talk about it because I've never purchased anything off of any of these sites, but I know it could open us up to like, oh man, and it makes the community look rough and bad if the deal goes down. Talk about it, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to I don't think we have the numbers to really support a swap meet type channel in the Discord. And then, I mean, if we had thousands and thousands and thousands of people, it might be beneficial. I mean, there's other sites out there that if you're going to want to sell something, you want to cast your net, out there where you're going to get the most fish. And so the other issue I've seen, and this is something kind of recent that I've been noticing on some of the other online swap meet forums and things, was that, and I'm still wrapping my brain around it. Someone will sell a piece of equipment to a person. The person receives it, and then within a day or two, they say, "Hey, this is not working. I want my money back." But in the meantime, they start stripping parts out of the radio amplifier, whatever it is, and send it back to the other person. They get their money back, and it turns into a mess. And then what ends up happening is the host, the site that's hosting it, is now, well, you have to be the police force. And it's like, I don't know if we're in the position to where we would be, spending our time trying to enforce a private transaction that went between two people, but they utilized, we kind of facilitated, utilized the site that we provided. So I'm just, it's a great idea. Gosh, I keep hitting my mic. So it's a great idea, but I don't know if it's a good idea. It's, I kind of see some issues down the road. I'm all for, if you want to discuss, hey, I got this amplifier and I want to sell it, and I'm just using that example, or I got this radio, I would maybe put it out into the Discord group, say, hey guys, I like to sell this. I want to give you guys first crack at it. If nobody wants it, then I'm going to go take it to qth.com and their swap section, or over on QRZ, and list it there, or before I take it to a local ham fest. So, I mean, we can kind of have it, but I don't know if it would be a good idea for us to facilitate it, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah. I worry about then you become the gatekeeper. And I know you can write some things that are like stipulation, buyer beware type of things. I don't know. What do you think? You're here in the chat. And our friends that'll be listening to this on the podcast later, you can chime in as well. I'm open to, channel ideas. The other channel idea was like a tech talk, and I can totally see that being fine. People who really want to get deep into the nuts and bolts, and pun intended.
Yeah, we kind of scattered around the different channels, whether it's the ham radio or on the air or everything. So yeah, I like the idea of dedicated chat. A chat channel that's dedicated more on the techie side.
Yep, I agree with that. So we can look into that, and if there's other channels that you guys are interested in, it's a community thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're trying to when we're not on the air, we're not producing shows or live streams, it's a good place to go and be with your people. That's the whole thing, is you need to find your people. And if you're tuning in, perhaps we are your people. We got an opportunity. Go to the phone. Hopefully no troublemakers today. Oh, Lord, I can't. Can't take it.
If
we
are your people, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you've picked poorly.
Yes.
What's going on, Brett? You're going to have to slide into your screen there a little bit.
Mr. Glass.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good morning. Let me see if I can adjust this. I've got an OBS camera here, so let me see if I can.
You just got to shift to your right, probably a little touch, or left somehow. But as long as the audio's good, we just got to remember to turn down our streams if we're listening. But he's an active member of the community and has been for a long time. There you go. You're fine.
I'm too far to the other side. Okay, here
just
we are.
Shift your shoulder a little bit. There you go. Hey, that's pretty good. We'll take it. That's good.
A little better.
Where are you? What's going on today?
I am in Laramie,
Perfect.
Wyoming.
Now you're
We have snow on the ground. It is 15 degrees. And I wanted to be up on the roof putting up an antenna this week, but it's not going to happen. I need to wait a little bit longer before I can do that. I did, however, get all the get all the equipment new and used in to put up the antenna, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I just got this little, so I can show it here. Got this SWR meter and power meter on eBay.
What are you working on? What's the thing on the roof? What do you got? What are your plans?
Well, I want to put up a multi-van vertical, and so I'm getting ready to do that. A Hustler 6 BTV.
Nice.
Which is a nice multi-van trapped vertical antenna, and it's gives you low SWR on all the bands. So I'm looking forward to that. I accumulated all the equipment by going on to places like eBay and also QRZ. They have a good swap meet section there. The way I deal with the problem of people possibly not paying or doing something funny is that I usually try to pay through PayPal, or I take advantage of eBay's guarantee. They also guarantee that you're going to get what you paid for. And so I haven't managed, over all these years, I think maybe one or two people have tried to rip me off, and none of them have been successful.
Good for you. I wouldn't want to rip you off. You're a smart cookie. I watch you. I follow you on the Twitter. I see what you're up to. And he's one of those smart guys. Good to have him in the community for sure. And but not safe to be doing anything on the roof, man, for sure.
Well, I'm flattered. As for being on the roof, no, today is not the day. We had snow. Last week was just all snow and ice and super cold temperatures, and
we sent that to you from Washington.
Oh yeah. And it's going to hit the East Coast, and then on the West Coast, well, it's passed on the West Coast, but now they have that tsunami to worry about. I don't know if you heard about that. There was an undersea volcano. There was an undersea volcano that erupted somewhere in the area of Tonga, and now they're worried that Hawaii already got hit, and they're saying that the beaches in California all the way up to Vancouver are going to get after effects of that.
God, that's nuts.
Interesting.
That's nuts. Hey, do you still do? You have a like a blog, right? Don't you write a blog? Or didn't you?
I do sometimes. I did have a blog. I was a computer columnist back in the early days of personal computers, and I had a very active blog back then. I had columns in several magazines. Now I'm mostly now my main business is being a wireless internet provider.
Got it.
I started the world's first wireless internet provider 30 years ago. It was called Lariat. Still operates in this area. And we beam microwave internet out to people who need it out, and they needed a lot during COVID. So we're continuing to grow and do all that. We use a lot of Ubiquiti gear, some fancier microwave stuff. The skills you learn as a ham really play into this. It's just it's tremendous. Wi-Fi wouldn't even exist if it weren't for hams.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so we go out there, we calculate, we do the calculations, and put up, select the antennas and put them up, and people have internet without having to go through a cable company or a phone company or a satellite.
That's amazing. Wow, that's great. Good for you. Good for you, man. All right, I want to hear all about the antenna. I will continue to follow your posts when you put them in the Discord and on Twitter. I usually see you on the Twitter, I think. Pretty active there, right? Unless you've given that up. Have you given up Twitter?
No, Twitter.
Okay.
I gave up Facebook. Facebook was trying to manipulate me and steer me to things and all of that. I didn't have time for that. But Twitter is nice because you get it in bite-sized pieces. You don't have to commit to a whole long thread of things. You can just sort of watch tidbits go by, and it's absolutely great if you want to follow the news. That's why I found out about the volcanic eruption this morning.
That's what I use it for. It's news, and you can curate it. You can curate your news, what you like, and what you want to. And so I do a lot of in my news gathering and consumption. I like to read it. I don't like to hear people talking at me too much, and that's more recent. I guess maybe I hit an age where I'm just like, oh, can't do it. Any side. I don't even want to open a bucket of worms, but I can't hear any side. I'd rather read it, and then I'll take it and make my own decisions from it. Well, Whiskey 7, what is it? Whiskey Yankee 7 Bravo Golf, Brett.
That's right, yes, because I'm in Wyoming, so I got what I thought was the perfect forever call sign for myself.
I like it, man.
Says where I am and who I am.
Yeah, your area and where you are. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in. It's good to see a face with the writing. Did you have a last comment, Steve?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. How's what mounting system are you going to use for your vertical on the roof once you get up there?
I'm going to build a mount. I'm going to put a big piece of 4x4, attach it right to the building, and then I'll take the antenna bracket and put it right on that. It needs radials, and I've got to make sure that I put it in a place where I can string out as many radials as I can in all directions, and it'll work a lot better.
There you go.
Cool. Keep us posted, man.
Yeah.
Look forward to hearing about it. Maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, well, 73.
73, brother.
73, Brett.
Bye-bye. All right, very nice.
Nice.
That's fun. Cool. This is fun. We know about car talk. Welcome to now radio talk or whatever this is. What are you laughing
speaking
at?
About a roof, I was driving by, coming home the other day, and there was some people out on their roofs clearing off the snow, and I watched one guy on a metal roof trying to climb up, and I'm like going, oh no.
Look away. You just don't want to see
And it was like, my pager's going to be going off here in a minute when this guy hits the floor. It was
you're going to have to turn around and to actually suit up and take care of him.
No, I was heading towards the fire station, and I was like, we'll see what happens. So if you get on your roofs, be careful. Those metal ones are, I hate them.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're welcome to join us. You can send messages through the chat. You can ask questions. Put a Q in front of it if you would like to. There's a form if you don't want to appear with us. You can stop in here in the live stream. We're just taking calls, questions, comments, anything that's troubling you. Got a couple topics on slate. And we're going to go to the phones. Go to phones, baby, and to honor the great Larry King. East Coast, where the hell are you? Come on, bring it in here. I got him. DJ, Whiskey 1, United, Echo, Delta. I believe DJ is the keeper,
my man.
the keeper of his father or grandfather's call sign. Which one is it?
Grandfather.
That's right. I remember it. Nice. I would always default it to grandfather, but I knew you picked up his call sign, which is great. And he was a big player at the league, wasn't he?
He was, 40 years at the league.
See the things you remember? He's in our community, man. You got to pick these things up, What's going on with you? I enjoy all of your posts that you put out there on our Discord. He's similar. I don't know if you guys do the same sort of work, but you actually speak the same language. It kind of pisses me off because I'm like, what is he saying? Like, what do they mean by that? And there's beautiful racks of gear, and I'm switching over to giddly biddly boddly biddly biddly boop, and I'm just like, is there a microphone involved in this? What are you working on, man? What's going on in your life?
Not a whole lot right now. Working on getting ready for the contest this weekend. The VHF contest is this weekend. Was hoping to get 220 megahertz up this weekend, but it just didn't come together. So we'll be on 6, 2 meter, and 432 this weekend. So hopefully January and the wicked cold, it's not going to yield any good results, I don't think, but we're going to try anyways.
Oh, you'll do fine. You're up there in the Northeast where there's a lot of people. And let's see, who is it? I'm brain fading, but Ria's friend, she likes to go out and do Rover.
Right.
On the VHF.
Right.
Andrea.
Andrea, that's right.
And Andrea, there we go. Sorry, Andrea. My bad.
She doesn't watch. We have like 0.2% ladies watching. It's all dudes here.
Yeah. So, the Rovers are going to be out, and I always kind of see the after effects of the VHF, UHF contests. And it's the East Coast. Up there in the Northeast is where it's at. The numbers are there. Here, Pacific Northwest, not so much. But
got a news report for you.
People still have fun.
Breaking news, November 3, Papa Kilo Juliet Todd just worked Spain 10 meters, FT8. That's Echo Charlie 5 Kilo. There you go. That's just in. So if you're working and following along the stream, we'll keep you up to date on the latest contacts made. We are your new resource for news.
Everything.
Everything is in the pot. Yeah, exactly. But you guys, your job, if you can talk about what exactly do you work for a utility, or you work for what is it you do?
I work for a utility.
Oh, I know who you are. I know who
this
you
was
are.
for the people.
Quiet, sir.
Else.
Quiet, sir. I know you. Just kidding.
So I also work for a communications company.
I knew it.
I do anything from vehicle installations of lights, sirens. We upfit with radios and lights. We do a lot of not patrol cars, but we do a lot of their admin vehicles. And I can be anywhere, like you guys see on Discord. I can be installing a radio in a car, a fire truck, an ambulance one day, and the next day I'm working at a tower site, fixing a repeater, fixing or installing an amplifier, putting up antennas on buildings. It's endless.
Well, it's cool. It sounds exciting. It sounds like it's different. And for me, that's kind of what I'm interested in, is like different, I know people have to sit at their desk and do that sort of stuff all day, and I've had to do that in my life, but I certainly love a variety, and you both share that of going out there and doing different things. So I can appreciate that, seeing different stuff. Steve's always sending pictures or texts. Now that he's on social anything, which is Discord, you all get to see it. I've been hoarding these photographs, and had we had your texts, I'd probably be getting them too. But now they make it to the Discord, and it's like I'm up on the mountaintop, and there's a grizzly bear standing behind him, like, I'll be home soon, and like the bear. Beautiful, just beautiful imagery that Steve sends and now posts to Discord. And that awkward silence.
Yeah, no, it's
now
a
you
lot of
talk,
fun in the it's a lot of fun in what DJ and I get to do, and I enjoy looking at the pictures. And the last one there at JFK Security, I wanted to make comments, but the foreman in me was starting to come out. But I was like, I'll just leave it alone. But I'll zoom in on the pictures, and it's like, oh, what are they doing there? And that's just the way we are. We just kind of, okay, how are they doing that? How's that lined up, or this or that? And it's we're always kind of looking at how we can do our jobs a little bit better. And to bust your chops, I was like, I've seen a lot of standing around in that picture there at that JFK. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The guys were on their cell phones. I noticed things like that. It's like, as I'm leaning on my shovel as a
one
foreman.
guy's on a key site, and everybody, it's like a state job. One person's working, everybody else is standing around.
Exactly.
I'm not getting involved in this, you guys, I can tell. Hey, DJ, stay out of trouble. We'll listen for you on the radio, man. And maybe Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central, we'll hear you on the net.
I'll
need,
always be there.
You need to start being a net control operator, man. He's got that testicular thing where he's like, hey, it's DJ. You're like, whoa, that's nice. Can't get him to commit to us, though, Steve. I'm trying. Thanks, DJ.
Good luck in the contest there, DJ, and just go out and have fun.
For sure.
Great.
We got the lines open. If you got a question or a comment, you want to stop by here Saturday morning live stream, a community live stream, a gathering of the willing in a different sort of capacity. I mentioned last week my youngest, she had to go into the city on Saturday mornings last semester, and now we've kind of figured out a way to double it up on a different day. She can actually not be so spread out, and it's great. It's kind of great to be back. So you're welcome to join us if you like. If you have a question, you could drop it in the form. There's a form that sends it directly here.
Yeah, JM had kind of a question. Ideas for field day? Stay warm.
Oh, yeah. Winter Field Day is coming up. I posted in the, and I want to do a bigger bit on that probably maybe this week because it's coming up. It's actually, I had the date written down right. Oh, the 29th and the 30th is Winter Field Day. And I don't know. I kind of don't know where I'm going to be at that point, but I would love to. I'd love to do something. And people are commenting on Discord. People are commenting on Facebook. There's other things happening now, Steve. Some places are not like St. Louis, where we're struggling now with the big V, or the big C, COVID-19.
With the little O.
Yeah, I'm going to change it so the algorithm doesn't suppress me for saying it. But virus is rampant here right now, and it's bad. And my business sent us home for 2 weeks the rest of January because it's right in the city. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can do what I need to do, but schools and all this thing, and it's just rough, and it's closer to home right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think a lot of people are, and we're so sick of it. Not to open a bucket of worms, but it's just like worse now than originally.
2 years that we've been at it.
It's too much. But anyway, that's what's going on, and so there's actually we're not even riding to the city as much right now because things are kind of in this weird half and half mode. But anyway, we were talking about Winter Field Day, and I kind of need to just see where we're going to be, on the 29th and the 30th. I'd love to play, at least give away points here on the rig for anybody who's out there doing it, if that's of value. But setting up, I'd love it. But there's not so much setting up here after we do our fallout, that second week of October, and then we usually get into it's either busy or, it's just not really conducive, and I come indoors more. But I would consider it, and some people are talking about if you're going to play, put that in the chat. We'll share it with the folks that'll be listening after. It's too much.
Like you, I'll probably just end up just giving points out. It's too far down the road, and it's like, oh, geez, I need to plan it out. And there's just way too much snow out in my field to set anything up. It'll be a lot of work. So I think I'll just stay here in the shack. But,
this just in from Ricardo in Florida. Field day in my area is picnic weather day.
Rub it in, Ricardo.
Yeah, Ricardo. How about an invitation to come down to Florida and hang out at Disney and hang out with him? He works on airplanes. He's another longtime community member. He works on planes. And we do. I mentioned that 0.8% of women, right? I don't know. We have and here she is, Rosa. Kilo Mike.
Rosa,
6.
good morning.
Papa Romeo Charlie has stopped by our chat today. And so there you go. So Winter Field Day, if you're going to be participating indoors or outdoors, you're welcome to let us know what you're going to be doing. I will be indoors. It's too sketchy and a little too far out to really know what's happening. Tim May is here. I believe Tim May is in Finland, right? He is in Finland, where it's really cold. Every day is winter field day for Tim May.
9 months out of the year.
I think he's Oscar Hotel 7 Tango?
Tango.
There we go. Saying hello to Spike now. Whiskey India 7 Alpha Romeo Delta. He is in our community. He is in Montana. loves the Jack Daniels, and loves to perform magic tricks, make your ear disappear. Actually, he's got a blade who will cut your ear right off after he'd been drinking too much Jack Daniels. And like, here's your damn ear. Here's your trick. Haven't seen you in a while. Spike, good to see you. Okay. I did want to also talk about Yaesu Radios. I've been hearing a lot of good things about them. I went from the Drake TR7, which is still here. My girl is still here. And the 21st Century rig was an ICOM 7300, which is behind me here. And I didn't know. I had a weird experience with a Yaesu HT. And I was like, ooh, like, am I so far out of the ecosystem here that I just can't figure this out? And I think it was a mixture of the programming and not having enough time or enough patience that I didn't give it a fair shake. I ended up giving it to my brother, who, he was grateful he needed an HT, so I sent it out to him. But the rigs, I'm hearing really good things about the receive, and this may not be new, and I know you're a Yaesu guy. So I was hoping you talk a little bit about Yaesu, maybe why they're not a sponsor. I wouldn't chase them away if they were interested, but I don't even know how you get to that. Anyway, I'm interested. I'm looking at some of the models of the Yaesu and just reading about the receive. Yeah. And as an audio guy at core, I'm like, that's pretty sexy when you can get good receive on, why don't you talk a little bit about it? And our friends that are in Discord or joining us in the chat or whatever, if you're running a Yaesu, tell us about it. What do you dig about it? Because I'm looking at them and I know Steve's got them. What is it about the Yaesu, Steve?
For me personally, I found them to have, and you touched on it, it's the receivers. And I've played around with a bunch of them over the years, and I've found that the Yaesus consistently have had pretty good, really, really good receivers, quite sensitive, and the noise reduction on them has been good. A couple, some models, they've kind of missed the mark on some of their other, some of their models, but all the, the big three, we're talking Yaesu, ICOM, Kenwood, they all, they have their pluses and minuses. But for me, I kind of learned early on, and some friends of mine have drilled into me when I was real new into the hobby. If you can't hear them, you can't work them. So I've always kind of took the receive to be more important and versus on the transmit side. And I've just, over the years, especially these last two that I've had, the 3000 and now the 101 Delta, it's just the receivers have just been incredible. And I pick people out, even if your signal is an S0 and you're not even tickling my meter, the audio is just coming right on through, and I'm able to just maybe kick a little bit of DSP in, but most of the time I don't have to run it, especially with the 101. The only downside on that one, on the 101, is the noise reduction is the noise, what they call noise blanker, is not as great as, believe it or not, the 1000. The 1000 for some reason had probably the better noise reduction, but that's a total different receiver, total different design, and but it's still in that kind of that Yaesu heritage. And so it's an ecosystem. It comes down to, it's just like, are you an Android guy or are you an iPhone guy or gal? And so for me personally, I've kind of liked the layouts of the Yaesu. I like the everything it does. I like the parametric equalization in the transmit side on the newer radios. The older ones don't have it. Compatibility with all my accessories has been kind of why I stayed for it. To be honest, I was looking at, before I got the 101, I was going to switch over to Elecraft. I was waiting for the K4. That was going to be my next radio. And the delays. And then when the numbers came out after Sherwood did his report, it was like you can't miss it, and the 101 was here, so I kind of pulled the trigger on that and stayed in the ecosystem. So, but you can't go wrong, and I'm with ICOM or Kenwood. They've just the big three. They've got quality radios, and it comes down to what you get used to, and it's the ecosystem that you end up in. But for ICOM, I mean for Yaesu's right now, if a really good bang for your buck, I've been saying the 7300, you get a lot of bang for your buck. But if you want to go up one step of the above the 7300, I'd say the FTDX10, which is basically the little brother of the 101 Delta. It's a single receiver. It's not a dual receiver, but you're getting the benefits of that receiver design, and plus the pluses from the transmit side too. So and it's like $1,300. They're under $1,400. So I mean, it's a pretty good deal. So if you're in the market of it, I'm hearing a lot more 10s out on the air and working guys, and so you don't have to go to the big boy, but there's some other options out there.
Don's checking in here. Kilo Bravo 2 Yankee Sierra India. The menu of the FTDX 1200 is bonkers. Scroll a single line at a time through nearly 200 lines of menu. Makes little sense. I won the radio.
That
was
the 3000. That's the same thing with the 3000, the bigger brother. It's the menu system. Yaesu on that, the 1200, 3000. I kind of I didn't like the menu system. You got to go line by line by line. They fixed it. It's a little bit better on the 101 and the 10. There's it's kind of evolving, and it comes down to who's writing the software and what they're thinking at the time. But yeah, these radios are really menu driven, and some do better than others, and some pay attention more. I think ICOM does a better job of paying attention to the user interface, the GUI of the menu screens, where I think Yaesu kind of went more functionality. It's just like, well, we'll just do it this way and go scroll line by line. And I'm with you, Don. It's 100%. The 1200, 3000. I just kind of kept the manual nearby, and I'd reference it. Okay, I need to make this change. What the menu number was it? Okay, then scroll all the way down to that, and it took a while. The other thing that Yaesu lacks on, in my opinion, was they have a PCC, what they call PCC. It's some kind of software that you can interface with the radio and operate the radio. And they say, yeah, it's a little bit better quicker to get to the menu items and this and that. I found it to be kind of not so well, but that was me. But I didn't spend any time. I kind of tried it for a little bit, and then I was like, forget it. I'll just scroll down on the menu screen and touch the radio. I try to kind of stay in the keep it simple department, and just to simplify things. Our shacks are getting more and more complex, and more things to go wrong. And so if you can kind of keep it simple, stupid, then all the better.
And I imagine every radio's got its thing. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? Why? And it's to you, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But to the population, who
Right.
knows, that's who they're working toward, is more people, more of us. It may make more sense for all of us. There was a question Ricardo had. Let's see, dual receiver versus a single receiver. What are the benefits?
Mainly if you're in contesting. And what's kind of nice, you can, with a dual receiver, you can put your main receiver, say, into one ear, and then you put your secondary receiver on another ear. And so you can turn around, and it's really beneficial in the contests where you are, if you're hunting and praying, or you're say you park on a frequency and you're just barking out there and you're looking for contacts, you can take your other receiver, kind of dial around and you say, oh, there's someone else there that I need for a multiplier or something like that. You can turn around and then note the frequency and then quickly change over there, make the contact, and then go right back to your frequency that you were barking on or chasing somebody else. So there's kind of a benefit. Or if you're, let's take it, outside of the contest realm, because contest operators and their needs kind of brings a lot of the features that we get into the radios, because the manufacturers are kind of trying to do some of these features to facilitate contesters. And I know a lot of people hate contests and things like that, but they're in my opinion, they're driving the market here. So, but let's say we're just kind of talking casual QSO, going back and forth. I could take the second receiver and go. So we're on 40 meters chit-chatting. Well, let me see what's going on 20. I can just bring up the second receiver and take a quick listen or scan around the band. And if I see a spot on the DX cluster that we have South America on 20 meters on this frequency, I'll tune over there, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy's loud. So then I can continue on with my QSO with you on 40 and say, hey, Christian, we got a ZS1 over on 14265, and he's an S9 to me. So maybe I know you need South Africa, so let's see if we can go work them and stuff like that. So there's that advantage of having the second receiver. So it's whatever you want to use it for. To be honest, most of the time I don't use my second receiver. My third receiver, which is my SDR receiver, which is feeds one of my computers for the PAN adapter. Now that gets used more than my second receiver.
Well, there you go, Ricardo. I hope that helps. But I agree. I don't. I use mine on net night. If we've got somebody running, say Don's on 75 meter phone, or you're on 20 and Uncle Paul's on 40, I may pop, I'll go get these frequencies so I can jump. I generally don't swap them back and try to operate. I need to get maybe better at that. I'd probably use it more if I knew how to do that. Maybe that's a video. Maybe that's something that we need to show.
Another one for your second receiver, and this is a good one. So you're working DX, and the guy is spread out. I'm listening 5 to 10 up, or 5 to 15. You can take your second receiver and you can kind of tune around where your transmitter is as you're listening to the DX station, and he's listening 5 up. You can kind of tune around on the within that band of where everybody is calling for him, but you can also find the spot to where he called the last guy. So some operators will kind of move up in the window or move down. They'll bounce around, but there's some predictability of the operator at the DX. So if you want to try to work them, and sometimes finding, he worked a guy, he was 7 kilohertz up in his 5 to 10 window. Well, you can probably come in there and take a risk. Well, I'll just be 8 and then start calling and improve your chances of working DX. So another option with the second receiver. So that's why, having that second receiver, there is some benefits and how to utilize it into whatever goal you're trying to do, whether it's contests, or just general QSOs or working DX.
It's interesting because our community is diverse as the interest in our hobby itself. You can tell by, it's, there's both sides. I like the ICOM 7300. I like this one. I like that one. This one gives me this. This one's like running an old whatever. And so it's interesting. There's a cross section there. And I've never even really used a Yaesu in the flesh. I've never seen the, screens are a big thing for me. I like to look at the screen. I want to know what that looks like to me, and moving around and all those sorts of things. It's very interesting. So yeah. You're welcome. I'm going to put the link in if you have a question or comment and you don't mind being in the stream and on the video. Go ahead and join us there. But while we do that, I want to talk about 30 days real quick. This week we debuted on the podcast. So if the folks that are here with us today, of course, the people who are listening to this are already podcast subscribers, or maybe checking it out for the first time. Those of you here, you get the information first as a podcast listener. Things will go and get posted up to YouTube in time. I've got a review of the 20-meter isotron antenna. I didn't know if this was snake oil. I didn't know if this was the next best thing. And Mark is in our community. He's in the chat today. He shared his 30-day observation. So basically what we're doing is putting the gear in your hand. The manufacturers are not supplying this for us. Because of our sponsors, because of our members, any donations that come in go back into the show, whether we're developing things, distribution, all that sort of stuff, it goes back. And in this case, the money is going to buy product. So the $85 antenna, we sent it out to 4 different people to give you an honest review system. And that's a new feature here at 100 Watts and a Wire, where you can, if you have a 100-watt ID, okay, and this gets you on the mailing list, this gets you your own 100-watt ID, which we share on Sunday evenings, during the net, during our operating events, and some people just collect them. Steve may remember the time where we had a community member, sort of like Wes, but earlier than Wes. Let's see if I pick your brain, see if you remember this. I remember all this kind of stuff. He was an over the road driver. He went across the country, and he had a goal. He was going to work 100 watt IDs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know how he did.
That was years ago. I don't know if he ever made it.
At that time, I'm not even sure we had 100 IDs out there. It was the beginning thing, and he needed some kind of game or a way to collect something while he was going around the road. This may be something that would be a bore to some folks, but I've never driven across country and got bored and was like, what the, maybe I'll just. So anyway, I don't know how he did. I think that we both worked him. I think, one night on the net, but anyway, he made a game out of it. And there's over 5,000 of these out there now, more and growing all the time. Getting back to the 30 days, if you have a 100-watt ID on our website, you just click 30 days. It'll take you there if you're curious about being a reviewer. Get your 100-watt ID. It usually takes a couple days. A human handles this. Kilo India 9 Whiskey has created the app that handles this. It gets mailed out to you. Well, then you can register to be a reviewer of different things. And I'd love to hear your ideas of, what you'd like to see reviewed. Now, this is money coming right out of the pocket. So we're in that $80 to $100 range because we're sending out 3 or 4 of these things. We can do it as long as the money lets us do it. But that's kind of our price point at the moment. We've got a matching offer going on right now, which is cool. Very generous from LDG Electronics. This is what brought up the Yaesu conversation, Steve, is that folks that have LDG tuners with their Yaesu rigs, because they've made a new cable, you can get a new cable where it works together. They were going to give $5, and they have been giving $5 per photo, up to 100 photos. That's 500 ducats for the show, which is basically going to keep us able to do another review for another month, right? So it's just a good thing. And for the people who did it and sent in photos, they would get put into a drawing for the meter that you want, the one that I had. It goes with your radio, the sexy meter, I call it. They ought to call it the sexy meter. And have a little picture of Ginger or Marianne on the inside. I don't know. Marketing is not my, older ladies. Put pictures of older ladies. Don't do that, guys, at LDG. Don't do that one. Anyway, they're going to put you in a drawing for that. That's kind of their own thing. Everything is private. They're going to give you a cable. It could be a $10 or $15 cable just for supporting the show. And then they're going to it's a matching program. It's super cool. And on the website, you can become a reviewer. Fill it out, have your 100-watt ID, and bada bing, you're in there.
Boom.
You're in there. And then what you need to do at that point, and we did this, and this is another question I have for our audience, because this is all about the people. This is really about propagating ham radio in our community, cultivating our community to come together, give you opportunities like this to be together and with us, Discord, Facebook, however you need to find it on the air. But, this is a way where you can get really good information from your own peers. This isn't Steve or me receiving something and going, yeah, I'll do that. I'll give you a good review. And then maybe at the end, I'll just say, it would be nice if they put bubble wrap on this piece. No, this is, it's a way for us to dig into a product. Is it snake oil? Is it not? The guys who did the first review of the 20-meter isotron, Steve, you would appreciate that. Hopefully everybody can go and listen to that podcast, because that's the first place you hear stuff is there. Very nice, but just to let you know, we went through the manual. We didn't go page by page, but was it good enough? Was it strange, or was it anything like that? Was how was the hardware? And we went through all these different categories of this antenna. I didn't have to say a word, right? I asked the questions. So anybody who may be in the market for that antenna now, it will at least have some peer
idea.
Will say, yeah, maybe I do want to spend my money on that, and it's a ma and pa thing, and maybe that's a feel-good piece for me, and that's enough for me. That's enough, and that gives me enough to go on. And that's the 30-day honest review system that is now a feature for us here at 100 Watts and Wire. So get your 100-watt ID, register, all this stuff is free, and you come on the show, we talk about it, and you keep it. I don't want it back. I don't want it back. I don't want it back. Keep it. I don't even touch it. Steve, it's a lottery, right? Here's what I'm doing. All the names of the people with their IDs, I would do it. Cool. Big pot. Big sexy pot of whatever you want to be in. I don't even want to know. But you're in there and with your peers, and we go down the list. When it's time to pick, keep me out of your spam, because I'm like, you're picked. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? You can pass. Totally fine. You don't get booted out. You come back around for the next thing, next time you're called up. As soon as I get the people, the product's purchased and sent out. It never stops here. I don't see it. I don't touch it. And I like it that way, Steve. I like to just ask them,
yeah,
what do you
perfect.
think,
Yeah.
man? What do you think of this? So
I think it's great.
I think it is cool. And if you want to hear it, you can hear it now on the 100 Watts and Wire podcast in full. And I'm debating when, because there's such a, YouTube is such a wacky thing. You play these mental games like, when did I put it up there? And I've got these clips. I've got the clips of the people talking about these specific criteria. And I'm like, should I just dump them all out there for everybody? Or should I just, and there's reasons for doing or not doing it that way, So I have them. I'm going to slowly, I guess, filter them up there, unless you guys want all this stuff at once, and then fine. Next. And speaking of next, we still have one more we're going to do, and it's the Radio Waves DX40. Again, Radio Waves did not give us this antenna and say, here, go play with it and come back and tell me what you think. We purchased them. We got 4 people who were putting it up, and they're out there using it, so that's what's going on. If that's something that you're interested in, either hearing about products or testing them yourselves, check that out, because I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool way to get a little bit more information than your general talking head, which could be skewed because it was a gift. Because it was a gift to them. It just makes you feel
sponsor or this or that. And
right.
It's always good to have, real world product reviews and by an average user. And that's the way it needs to be done, especially when something needs to be assembled, or if the instructions aren't great, and been playing around with something. I go, oh, I know what they're trying to accomplish and get there. That's if I can overcome it, maybe someone else can't. They need maybe a little bit more instructions. And I've found over the years, and it's just not here in the amateur world, technical manuals and writings are terrible. It's there's a lot of assumptions made by the writer of the user or the person that's putting this product together, and that's really important. That makes or breaks a product, other than the actual performance of it.
They were very nice. They were very professional. They were hams, not professional in the way that they were like, this. There was no. I didn't feel any bias toward anything. It was straight honest. They agreed that, and that's what you do when you agree to become a reviewer. You agree to review it, receive it, review it, come on and talk about it honestly. But the honest feedback for that particular 20-meter version of that antenna was delivered with respect for the fact that it was a ma and pa company, and then maybe some of the hardware cost-cutting things, that you may put into the packaging. Like we just went through it in a nice way. Nobody beat up anybody. And in the end, we wrapped it up with what advice or what feedback could we give to the maker to perhaps make it a little bit better. And I was like, this is cool. Like we didn't take an S dump on anybody. Nobody got hurt.
Good.
It was straight. And we found out how they mounted it, how they put, what they got, the readings. It's all in there, and it will all make it to YouTube. But I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast because they get it first. And you'll see it eventually, but they're getting it first. Any kind of giveaways we're doing, any sort of programs, it just goes that way first. So anyhow, all right, what did I miss here? I got on a rampage there talking. Did we miss any questions? Let's see. I'll go back over to the chat here since we're live and this is a community stream and it might disappear at the end. Some talk about the 7300.
Yep.
And that radio is everywhere. I mean, I would say so far that radio in my ham radio career, which goes to 2012 HF sometime between 2014, 2015, that's the radio I was encouraged to hold. I was going to look at a 7200. I had the money. I was like this, Steve, for our viewers, they'll get this. I was like this. I got the money. Take the money. I was making it rain. No, I had enough money to upgrade. Okay, with the money, put it back in my pocket. And I was encouraged. I was looking at the 7200. I was like, this looks like something you'd see in the military, man. This is a badass looking radio. And everybody was like, just wait. Get the 7300. I was like, what do you mean? Wait, I'm trying to get on HF. I'm trying to get, I want to see the waves and I want to see this. Nope. Everybody was like, you got to wait. I'm like, well, when's it coming out? Spring. Like, oh. So I had to wait a few months, and it was really good advice. I still thought the 7200 was a cool radio. I had visions of being portable, and the 7100 I was cool with. I thought 7200 must be pretty cool also, but nope. 7300 came, and it had to be the top selling radio in at least this decade, or the I don't know of all time. I can't say that, but
they hit it out of the park with that. They brought in the SDR receivers, and that was a game changer. And I'll say it. And when people ask me, "Hey, Steve, what radio should I get?" I'm new into HF, and I just go get the 7300. And or if you want to spend a little bit more now, I'd say go get the FTDX 10. I call this 7300 the people's radio. It's like the Volkswagen Bug was the people's car, and 7300 is the people's radio. It came on the game. It came in gangbusters, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. I'll say it today. I'll say it tomorrow. I said it yesterday. It's a lot of radio, and this is a Yaesu guy that I've been in the Yaesu ecosystem for many, many, many years, and it just, you can't go wrong with the 7300. And ICOM did did quite well with it. And then they took the 7300 lineage and it put it into the next level with the 7610. And I mean, they already had the 7600, but then they just kind of they stepped it up. So it's a game changer, and they did that. I look back over the years when I was in college and in the late 70s and early 80s, the FT101, the hybrid Yaesu radio, that was kind of the game changer back then. And then, you know, he had Kenwood with their the 520s, the 530s, the 820s, 830s, and then I can't remember what ICOM had at the time that they had a hybrid radio. And what I mean by hybrid radio, it was all solid state with the exception of the driver and final were tubes. And then I think that was the 520, 820, the 20 series and the Kenwoods. And then the 30s, I think, just had a tube final. They solid state devices were, you know, they were maturing and going along. So it was, you know, every now and then throughout the course, we have a manufacturer that brings a game changer. And at this time it was ICOM, you know, 30 years ago, it was Yaesu. And now it's ICOM, and who knows what's going to happen 10 years or from now. But I know the radios we're getting today are just so fantastic. They are incredible. It doesn't matter if it's from ICOM, Yaesu, Kenwood, they're incredible. And for what you get and for what the cost is, and yes, the cost is expensive. These radios there's a lot of money involved in it. But if you look back over the course of time, they've gotten cheaper. And gotten better. So it's a great time to be in the hobby when it comes to rigs, and whether it's in the HF side or in the VHF UHF side, these radios are just fantastic, and we're getting a lot of bang for our buck. So
yes, sir.
It's a good time.
It's radio is radio. Radio is radio, and now radio is life. Look at this, Steve. Came up with this last week. You can get in there, get into our merch, poke around and go into the merch. Mostly men are listening to this stuff, but you can go in and look at T-shirt. Radio is radio. There it is. Radio is radio. Radio is life. As you poke around, it's another way to help the show if you like. There's an old school logo there. I pose for that with my muscles there in the middle. Yeah, my big muscles. Not true at all, but poke around there. Some things there. Some new T-shirts and some sweatshirts and all that sort of stuff. Radio is life. And radio is radio. Yeah, I don't look down on anybody for anything that they run. And the topics this week just came up, you know, because of kind of the matching, you know, there was a lot of people running Yaesu radios, and I wondered what it is. You know what? I've never seen one, never touched one. I've seen them at the Say Ham Fest, the one you've talked about, the classic. Loved it. Almost bought it. Old story goes back. It was $200. Knew the guy who was selling it. He said it doesn't transmit on 20 meters, and this guy could fix anything. He fixes Heil's radios. When Heil, yes, Bob has a guy. When Bob needs work done on a radio, he goes to a guy here. I think he's in Wentzville. I'm spacing on his call, but yeah, he'll go and he'll have this guy work on it. He's known, but he's a boat anchor guy. And this was a little more, you mentioned it's a hybrid, and getting in under he didn't feel as comfortable in there, and I passed on it. I came home, I talked about it on the podcast that same week or the next week, and the guy who was listening in Australia said, that happened to me. It's an easy fix. You should have bought it. And I was like, son of a man, because it's so beautiful. That radio is, to me, it just looks cool, man. It just looks cool. Love it. So that's that. All right, so we gave you a little bit of insight. What else here? Isn't it crazy how this time goes? And then Willie Nelson, who taught us about it. Ain't it funny how time slips away? See if there was a question for you. Maybe we can wrap it up on a question. Don, who lives in the iciest part of the world, apparently, in Where is he? He's in
Minnesota.
He's in Minnesota. He says a question for Steve. Could an off-center fed dipole be set up with the short side running vertically down a fiberglass mast next to the feed line? This sounds like an inverted L question here. And the long side go out in a sloper configuration. Here it is for our people who are in the chat who may have missed it. I'll let you tackle this one, but I wouldn't try that. I don't think I would do it, but maybe it would work.
I would try that, but I'm starting to think you end up maybe getting too much common mode, because now you're going to have coupling into your coax, so get some common mode currents that are coming back down into your shack. Now, if I was to do it, I'd probably put a 1-to-1 choke just before the coax got into the shack. But that's an interesting one. Technically, I don't think it would play well. Or I mean, it's on the if we're going down to the technical side of it. But you know what? Let's try it. See what happens. I mean, I'm going to give the example. Our buddy Phil,
True.
W1PEP, he had one side of his dipole down on the ground, and he still had a great signal. So, yeah, I'd say try it. But I would put probably a choke, and that could be, take a 4-inch or 6-inch PVC pipe, put about 8 wraps of your coax over that side by side next to each other. That's another way of, putting a simple, quick choke, or put an inline 1-to-1 unun and or balun, and just so that you can break up that common mode current coming back into the shack. So that's the only thing I could see that would stand out in my opinion, but I like the idea. That's cool.
Try it, but he's going to be trying it in Minnesota, and his stones, I'm talking about down in there in his pants, will freeze and mold together, crystallize, and snap off. If it doesn't work, he won't need those. He's done with all that. Right?
He has that Makita. Makita makes those heated jackets. Well, they got a secret.
Oh, I was thinking he might have a drill bit that would friction or something.
No, you put it's an M12 pack. It's for your banana hammock and everything, and it kind of keeps the stones warm. So just slip that M12 battery in your back pocket.
Keep your stones warm. New T-shirt idea. Keep your stones warm. Okay, very good. I also caught the 30-day suggestion, the Nano VNA. I have no idea what that is, but I will look into it.
Yeah, they're great little things. The network vector analyzer, VNA. Yep, I bought one. Yep, and they're a great little device. They're for 50. You can get them as low as $50, or or I think the one I got the bigger window, or the bigger screen, so it was a little more expensive. But it's a great tool to test your antenna systems and a bunch of other stuff.
All right, we'll see what happens. Check the price point on it and all that sort of stuff. Just to get back, going to create a spin-off show called TMI, just for Uncle Paul. We'll have one subscriber, and it'll be where we share too much information. Sorry, Uncle Paul.
So
he's not that uptight.
Guys, that work out in the field. We come up with contraptions and devices that we need to, take care of, ourselves while we're out in the cold and or in the elements versus. Right. Retired folks that are, drinking hot toddies in their living room.
3 fingers of scotch. That's what he likes.
3 fingers of scotch too, with 1 ice cube and things like that.
One rock.
Us working stiffs are out in the field. DJ and I are, out at comm sites, tower sites, and our stones are frozen.
Stones are frozen, and there's no business when the stones are frozen. Yep. I mean, on the inside.
Out comes the M12 battery and plug it into the banana hammock, and we're good.
Yeah. I don't know where we went off the rails, but this is the intersection of life and amateur radio. So it plays. Getting back to Don's point real quick, I guess it may be the coupling you're talking about or whatever, not related to keeping your stones warm. That's a whole different, that's a cupping, not a coupling. It's the space between the wires. Is that what you're referring to? That's the only thing that would worry me is that you would drop too close.
What ends up happening is, so typically, your coax is like this. So this is your coax coming up, and it's 90 degrees to the radiating element. So your coupling is minimized. But now when you run them parallel, so you're going to have the short wire, this wire is radiating out. Well, it's going to couple into the coax shield, and then that RF is going to start coming down the coax shield back into the shack. And now your radio gets hot. Now you're going to be dealing with basically RFI issues. And so what you want to do is you want to minimize that. And ideally you put your decoupling device, which will be the balun or your choke, just beyond where the end of the wire is. You want to kind of keep everything out there. You don't want to bring anything back into your shack, because RF floats on the surface of a conductor. When it's inside the coax, it's on the surface of the shield, but it's on the inside. But you don't want RF to get on the outside, and then it propagates back into your shack, and it's radiating inside your shack. And now you're dealing with a hot chassis. You're dealing with RFI issues, and we know all that. So
back to hot chassis talk, Uncle Paul, on the TMI hot chassis talk coming up next.
And if you have a hot chassis, then you're going to have hot stones.
Yeah, and hot stones are different than warm, happy stones. I've always had different sort of readings. Anytime I get, say, an inverted, everything I have is inverted V shape. Anytime I would get those two centerpieces and those elements start to come a little too close together, anything that changes, some of the readings, different meter readings. So I would think dropping that changes that down impedance would be. But I agree. I think you should try it and take some pictures and see what it does, because that's the spirit of amateur radio, is to just try it. It may not be good. Should he key up in low power, or just do the test and maybe not transmit at all?
I'd start off at low power, do some, see if your tuner will tune it up, and then note what's going on. And are you having some issues in the shack? And then bring the power up, and then if you start having more issues or no issues, and so we'll see. Another way of decoupling the RF is running if you're going to have common mode, is running it on the ground. I found running coax underground or on the ground, you'll get some decoupling, because the RF that's us on the
Scotty. Sorry, I'm not laughing at Steve. I'm laughing at the comments. Scotty. Scotty says TMI on sidecar's banana hammock. Yeah.
You got it, buddy.
Got it. That's great.
So,
your Uncle Paul plays
choke
this,
it, baby. Yep.
Yeah, he says choke it, baby. And, he plays this sort of nice man who's very proper, but I know he's nasty in there. He is
warped.
Totally warped. I had a lot of fun today. Boy, I would love to do this more. I really do love live streaming. I love being with our community. So tell your friends, anybody of like minds who may want to join us for this, and hook up with us on Discord if you like. There's good discussions go on there, and maybe we'll add that tech talk so we can get a little technical and talk about or in antennas or something.
Get your cameras ready, get your audio squared away, and please come and join us.
Come on in and do the meet and greets.
We'll do the meet and greet, ask questions, or show us what you got, and in the shack, that is. And
there we go. Hold your eyes, Paul.
And just, come and join us here on Saturday. We'll get a chance to chit-chat, and we'll go from there.
Don says, so Christian, when did you first realize you lost total control? Sometimes you have to lose control to know what control is. I think it's okay. Steve's a wild card. He's very improper.
We have HR moments.
His office is technically in HR because he doesn't have to go far when he, breaks a rule. So it's great. It has been fun to be with you today. I appreciate all of you who have come, from Scotty and Ricardo and all of our friends who came. I see Scott there as well. You remember Romper Room? Did that make it out to the West Coast, Romper Room? It might have been on when you were.
Oh, yeah.
And Miss Nancy
was
was. I see Paul and Brad. Hello, Brad. I see Jeffrey and Scotty and Wes and Spike, you naughty boy. And she would do. I love that show when I was a kid. But I see you all in there. Appreciate you. We've done 90 minutes together, and it's wonderful. I'd love to do it again if you'll join us. And Saturday morning seems to be a really good spot. And I actually streamed the Sunday Evening Net last week. We just had my radios, so the folks that are here with us now, you could see the radios kind of going, and I had a shot of the meters, so you could see your levels. And I was in and out. Sunday is like bath night and food night and tucking them in and getting them ready and all that sort of stuff, but easy enough to stream it out. So I had fun doing that too. What did we miss, Steve? Anything we did?
I think we got it covered. Yeah.
Good. Appreciate your questions and your comments, all that sort of stuff. And take care of yourselves. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of the cold. Keep your stones things. Well, that is a new T-shirt. Keep your stones warm. I don't know what the connection. It's just life. It's life.
Warm stones or happy stones?
Okay, warm stone. I like that. We'll try it. And if people purchase it, we'll leave it in the shop. Warm stones are happy stones. And we will have an exclusive interview. Life is too
short for cold stones.
Life is too short for cold stone. I will have an exclusive interview with a warm set of stones on the next edition of 100 Watts in a Wire. On that note, take care of yourselves and each other. And by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise. 73
y'all.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsinaWire.com.